great. Welcome everyone.
Wait. I'm waiting for. We're not live yet. Wait.
We are live now.
Okay.
Hello everyone.
Wait.
Welcome to APCO annual meeting. So we will talking about the activity for the past years, and we discuss some issue that we interest. Let's begin with who will begin next?
So good morning, everyone. I'm live in Bangkok. My name is Kevin Noon. I'm the Secretary General of the WBC Asian Boxing Council, and joining us today, the lovely Oksana in Moscow, Mr. Damrong in Vietnam, Mr. Aku in, I believe, Shanghai today, or God knows where you are in China. You're a man of many travels. Mm-hmm. And of course, Colonel Tanapon, the Executive Secretary, will be joined very shortly by Patrick Cusick, if he manages to figure out the technology, and Police General Covid Baktibum, the President of the Asian Boxing Council, will join us shortly. Wonderful to see you all again. And yeah, the Asian Boxing Council has been a very proud federation of the WBC for many, many years, and one of the most, if not the most active and productive federation of the WBC in recent years. We're blessed to have such a lucky and productive and fantastically passionate team of representatives all over Asia. And on that note, I would like to turn it over to Oksana to talk about all of our activities and our champions in her part of Asia under the WBC Asian Boxing Council. Oksana, good morning.
Good morning. It's 4 o'clock in the morning here in Moscow, in Russia, and it's a great pleasure to be in such a nice company. Thank you very much, Kevin. So it's also a great pleasure for me to be a representative of WBC Asian title here in this region. WBC East Asia region. It's a huge territory. With the dissolution of the Soviet Union, many independent countries appeared, and let's review this area. So at first, it's Russia. It's a huge territory of Russia with 77% of the actual territory of Russia is located at the Asian part of the continent. And with this 77%, it is the biggest territory than any other country in the world. So we have a huge market here in Russia. Also, we have then goes Kazakhstan, where the professional boxing is experiencing boom, and every boy is dreaming to become next Triple G. Also, we have Uzbekistan with many strong fighters who would like to also be WBC Asian champions. Also, we have Tajikistan. All those fighters from these countries. For example, in Tajikistan, we don't have many promoters. Just simply boys and fighters go to other countries and fight there, in the United States, in Russia. And for sure, having so many fighters in this area, we have also a lot of already fighters who are WBC Asian champions. We have in light heavyweight, we have WBC Asian champion Mansour Elsayev from Russia. And in super middleweight, we have Aydos Yerbosunlu from Kazakhstan. He successfully defended his title just recently in Belarus. During this pandemic situation, promoters managed to make a boxing event in Belarus and make a title defense for him. And also in super welter, we have a Russian fighter from Chechnya, Islam Yedisultanov. He fought very successfully against Evgeny Terenteyev, former WBC International Silver champion, and defeated him. And the last one, during this actual time, WBC Asian champion is super light weight division, Anivar Turapov. this guy is from Uzbekistan. So we have quite many fighters in this area who represent, proudly represent the WBC Asian Championship. Thank you very much, Kevin.
Thank you, Oksana. Wonderful. We're quite blessed. And of course, we had great news last night at the very intense WBC ratings meeting, which was live with all the big promoters around the world. And of course, Ados is now number 15 in the super middleweight world rankings.
He will wake up and will be very happy.
Very happy. Yeah, we were all delighted. And I saw there was a nice smile on your face during the meeting. So well done. Congratulations on your great work. General COVID is very proud to have you, and a great work by Mr. Damrong there, bringing you on board a few years ago.
Thank you very much. Without the teamwork, it would be impossible to have so many champions in the area. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, guys.
And I see we're joined by the illustrious Mr. Patrick Cusick in Australia. Patrick, how are you? Welcome.
I'm very well, thank you. Here in just outskirts of Melbourne, in lockdown, but very happy that we can communicate with all this technology. Good to see good friends. Oksana, Colonel Damrong, Mr. Aku in China doing a wonderful job, and of course yourself, Kevin Noonan. Magnificent work, and we're shaping up to come out of the COVID-19 crisis in good shape. And in Australia, we have the Australasian Championship, which has been long waited because Australia and New Zealand have been in the backwaters of Asia for a long time. They play football in the Asia competition, and now the WBC is bringing the Australasia Championship for Australians against Asians. And I think that's going to be something significant in 2021. But first things first, we progress slowly until this year is over. And then 2021, I think, will be a golden period for Asian Boxing Council.
And of course, the WBC Asian Boxing Council Australasian title is sanctioned under the WBC Asia with the approval of the head office in Mexico, the WBC head office. And you have former world champion Billy Dibs. He was your first champion, right, earlier this year?
Yeah, that's right. We have three champions now. We have Billy Dibs, who's very keen to come back and defend his title. He's just waiting for the opportunity. Then we have Lewis, who went into a top-rank top fight. He lost his last fight, but he is exceptional talent. He'll come back. He lost against a fighter which had very long arms, and he's a short, nuggety Tyson-type fighter. He's world-class, and he's very proud to be the Australasian champion. Then Steve Gargo, the East Timorese Terrier. I went across to Perth in December, and he won that Australasian title. So we've got three. There's another 6 in line. We just need to, again, progress slowly, see this year out, and cock our weapons and fire come January, February next year.
And of course, the week after next, former WBC Asia champion Tim Tszyu, of course, the son of Costa Tszyu, the great former world champion, he's back in action against Jeff Horn.
Yeah, and we should remember that Tim Tszyu won the
Patrick, I'm going to rudely interrupt you for a minute because our president has arrived, and I would like to give him the floor. Good morning, General COVID. How are you?
Morning, General.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, General.
Morning, General. Wonderful for you to join us. We're live on the WBC convention platform all around the world, so don't say anything to General. We're live. Of course, we're joined by everyone: Mr. Aku, Colonel Damrong, Oksana, Colonel Tanapon, and of course your old friend, Mr. Patrick Cusick.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're well.
Good morning, General. Good morning.
Good morning, Oksana. Good morning.
Good morning, General COVID.
So, General, we were just talking to Patrick. He was talking about our former WBC Asia champion, Tim Tszyu. Of course, he's in action next week in a big fight against former world champion Jeff Horn.
Yeah,
Is there much interest in the fight in Australia right now?
There's huge interest. It's a pay-per-view contest on the 19th of December, 19th of this month, August. The point about this is that Tim Tszyu, his father, of course, is the famous Costa Tszyu. He's originally from Russia, and he has great alliances with Russia, and he was very much aware that the Asia Boxing Council has significance with Russia because it's more or less the Western Asia. So there is that great affiliation. And after this fight with Horn, it was already scheduled to be a non-WBC fight because of Horn's previous alliances. But after this, I'm very confident that we can get Tim Tszyu to have a Australasia Championship as his pivot to then go. I know his connections want him to fight in Russia, and he'll be going for a much bigger title after the Asian title. But I'd like to get him back one more time with the Asia Boxing Council before he goes into the top 10 of the world. And I think he's an excellent fighter. He fights like his father. He's very, very dedicated. He's been protected, so he hasn't been hurt too much. But we must remember that when he won his Asian Championship against Wade Ryan, he was knocked down very heavily in the first round, and he got up and took the big punch. So he's a strong fighter, and I think that he's going to go a long way. And I think that when he goes back to Russia, the Russians will embrace him. He'll be a Russian-Australian champion.
Thank you, Patrick. Aku, good morning.
Good morning, Kevin.
Next week, you have a WBC Asia Championship in China. And of course, you have currently 2 Chinese WBC Asian champions. Would you like to tell us about the activities going on in China for the WBC Asian Boxing Council?
Yes, we had a very successful year in year 2019. We had more than 12 WBC Asian title fight in China, including silver title, continental title. I think in last year we worked pretty well with Conor Dameron and Kevin. Very good year. So now we have 2 regular WBC Asian champion. Also, we have another 5 champion, like a silver title or interim champion in China. So WBC in China is very popular. And in this year, although we have a pandemic year, but in China, the country is opening now. We have more and more activities. So next week, we will have a WBC silver title fight in China. This is the first title fight in China in 2020. The first title fight from all the sanctioned bodies. So we are doing the best in China, representative of WBC. And in this year, we will have more and more activity, and we are making more plan to promote more WBC Asian title fight in China.
Thank you, Aku. That was very, 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 very interesting. Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Abraham Mitra.
Good morning. Pleasant good morning to everyone and to everyone in the convention. Warm greetings to you across the globe. We got a little, the ratings committee meeting went all the way up to what, 4 in the morning, and yeah, excuse me. And thank you for welcoming me, Kev. And General COVID, good morning.
Good morning, Abraham. Good to see your face again.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Patrick, to our good friends all over the world. Pleasant good morning to everyone.
General, would you like to say a few words to Mr. Mitra, one of your vice presidents, of course, representing us in the Philippines?
I think I say hello to everyone, and I will ask the permission to let you, Kevin, as a Secretary General of the ECO, to inform our activity on the past year to our friend, all the friends, which is we have a very good performance last year, and Kevin, you can inform our activity on the past. We have many championship even last year, and also Apple like to thank you those rating committee to support our boxer, and we hope we can do better than this year. I think Kevin, you please report our past activity to our friends. Report, please.
Thank you, General. Yeah, last year we had a quite an incredible year with championships taking place all over Asia, to the west in Russia, to the South Pacifics in Australia, even all over Thailand, Philippines, Singapore. Of course, with incredible activities. But Mr. Mitra, I got to talk to you about Mark Magazio. He's a rising star. He's our current WBC Asia Featherweight champion. Tell the boxing fans about him, where he is now, what he has done, and of course, exciting future coming for our WBC Asia champion from the Philippines.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. I sent you a vice president's report through your Facebook, and it's very similar to this. The pictures that you're putting up, it's the same. And yes, we have highlighted Triple M, Mark Magnifico Magsayo of the Philippines. Very exciting, very young, and good fighter. He has decided to move to the US for temporarily to train under Coach Freddie Roach, and he has an upcoming fight sometime, I think September 23 against an unbeaten fighter. But we are confident that WBC ABCO will once again produce a world champion from within its ranks. We're very happy about Mark's progress, and he's also been helping us a lot. You know, once there are programs of the Games and Amusements Board, he always participates. And then if there are things that we need to relay to the boxers, he is also there to assist. He's very nice young fellow, very nice fellow, and very personable, and we're very proud of him. And we're hoping that we'll become a world champion soon under, of course, WBC.
Thank you, Mr. Mitra. Colonel Damrong, how are you, sir? WBC Asia in Thailand, of course, we're headquartered here. Historically, it has been such a strong base for us. What makes that? What makes Thailand so special in terms of producing boxers, champions, and of course, talk about some of our. We have three really valued. We have many valued promoters here, but Pechindi, Nakanrawang Promotions, and Evolution Fight Series Promotions. Talk to us about some of the intricacies about that, please. Colonel, you have no volume. Colonel, we can't hear you.
What's happened?
Turn the switch on.
Thailand.
Oh, okay. Colonel, could you start again, please? I'm sorry. We're only getting your sound now. Okay.
Okay, one moment.
Is the Colonel still in Vietnam?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Hello.
Thank you. Perfect. Yes, sir.
Everyone hear me? Hello. Okay. So I would like to learn all of you that this year is a very successful year of WBC in Thailand, because we can maintain our best status in Thailand. WBC Asia is the most active sanctioned body in Thailand. We have worked with 3 big promoters and another 2 promoters. That's mean in Thailand we have worked with 5 promoters. Nakhon Promotion, Pechindi Boxing Promotion, Both promoter they promote with us average once a month. And Evolution Fight Series, we work with them. Normally they promote one time for 2 months, every 2 months. The other two promoter is Rico Santik, who is Filipino, but he work in Philippines and Thailand. And the last one is Mr. Saitong. That means now we work with 5 promoter, and WBC Asia in Thailand is like a really good image, and everyone want to work with us. This is the situation.
Okay, thank you very much. So I've highlighted two boxers on the screen. On the left, if you're looking at the screen, you have Nawapon Nakonlawang Promotions. He's the current WBC Asia Bantamweight champion, and he's ranked number 2 in the world in the WBC Bantamweight World Rankings, and he is second mandatory in line for the champion. And on the right-hand side of the screen, we have the rising star, Chai Noi Warawut. He is currently ranked number 9 in the WBC Super Bantamweight World Rankings. And of course, he is the current WBC Asia Super Bantamweight champion and the WBC Youth World champion. Colonel Tanapon, I know you have watched Chai Noi box a lot in recent times. What impresses you about him? And what do you see? Is he Thailand's next world champion, our superstar, or am I talking too early about him?
Yes, it's possible. I watched myself and beside the ring. He is another great boxer in this moment. I believe that maybe next year we will see him as a new world championship for the WBC.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, he's one to watch for sure. In the let's turn our attention to the champion, the world champion, Juan Neotin. Of course, he's 54-0, current WBC minimum weight world champion. Actually, we can't call him the minimum weight world champion anymore. As per the WBC vote in the Board of Governors 2 days ago, the WBC has now changed the minimum weight division back to calling it strawweight. So he's the WBC strawweight world champion. General COVID, Juan Neotin, I know you were pushing very hard to push his case as a national icon, a national sporting icon for Thailand, for the Thai people, to celebrate his career. Can you talk us a little bit more about the value and the importance in that?
Yes. I will propose to the Ministry of Sport in Thai government to support the historic fight for Juan on the sometime next 2 months, next year or something, to win the record of 55 in on the history of his record. And I think I will ask the government to recognize this is the national record for Juan winning the 55 next. And I think Juan will put in the world record of in his book if he can do his performance on in the near future. And I will inform the Thai government to accept this outstanding record. Thank you.
Thank you very much, General. Okay, very interesting and a very good showcase. He is a national icon, and we hope to see the Thai people and the Thai government celebrate his career, which has been quite incredible when you think how it started. Patrick, I'm going to come back to you. We talk about the present, WBC Asia and all the activities we have throughout the Asian and Australasian continents. The history and your history within the organization. Talk to us about the early days and how the growth of the WBC Asian activities under your tenure as Secretary General, what you and General COVID and Colonel Damrong did in the early days of your time in the Asian Boxing Council.
Yeah, well, I came involved with the Asia Boxing Council after Muay Thai. General Corbett invited me to join with him to start the WBC Muay Thai after he'd met with the King of Thailand and Jose Sulaiman, the late president. They met with General Corvette and His Majesty the King, and the three of them determined to go ahead with the WBC Muay Thai. And I had been doing a television program on in English language on Muay Thai, so I became involved with General Corvette, and then the expansion started when people like Colonel Dumrong came involved, and together we determined that we'd make the Asia Boxing Council Asia-wide to bring all the new countries into the boxing countries such as Malaysia, particularly China. China was emerging, and the General Corvette and Jose Sulaiman did all the hard work. Went across to China, and then we had the big convention, the WBC convention in China in 2008. And that really opened up the Asia Boxing Council into the heart of China. And of course, it's now history that a world champion, Zhao Zong, became the world champion. And he was the former WBC Asia champion. And he went on and became the world champion. And coincidentally and conjointly, the Asia Boxing Council became very well established in China, and a lot of our activities from 2008 to 2018 were involved with developing China as a strong country for boxing. And then Colonel Dumrong went down into Indonesia and Malaysia and began to get the activity happening in countries such as Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia. And then he invited Oksana graciously accepted to take the Asian Boxing Council green belt into Russia, because Russia at the time were having some difficulties and we wanted to help them. So we did that, and with Oksana, fine connections and leadership and personality, we're able to get the Asian championships into Russia and into Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. Colonel Dumrong went by train through Kazakhstan to attend a championship as a pioneer, and so then we went right to Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Russia, Ukraine. We've had championships. And now we've got Azerbaijan, helping out in Azerbaijan. And then now is the area where I am is in Australia, and we want to expand into Australia because Australia wants to be part of Asia. And so that's our opportunity, and that's what we're going to do for the years ahead.
Colonel Damrong, I'm going to turn over to you. I'm going to talk about leadership. I mean, we're all working under the leadership and guidance of General Covid, and I think he's an exemplar in terms of leadership, in terms of he doesn't tell you to do something, he will want to do it himself and then let you see that you can do it as well. I know you've had a very good working relationship with him over the years. Can you talk to us more in depth about that leadership and how important it is for a federation like the WBC Asia moving forward from past to present, and as an organization to not only survive but grow in the boxing industry?
Yes. General Covid gave the policy to me to support our Asian fighter to fight in the professional boxing step by step, from the national title go to the continental title, and try to ask me to support any Asian fighter to fight for the title too. So with General Covid policy, I went to many countries such as in Singapore, in Indonesia, and in Malaysia. Over there, they have many potential fighters. For the example, in Singapore, we have worked with 3 promoters, Willie Paul and Awil Lawani. and also the Zulkifli Jaffa. In Singapore, now we have a good female fighter. He's Miss Nushahida Rosli. Last year, she fought for the WBC silver female title, but she lost in on point. But I think we can support her to fight again for this year. But unfortunately, because of the pandemic, so the plan is perhaps to the next year. But I think we can have like a stock mark in the Singapore. About in Indonesia. In Indonesia now we have worked with 3 promoters with Makota Promotion, Amintan Promotion, and also the Nelson Nienggolan. He's worked with Mr. Martinez. I heard that in November he wants to promote 2 WBC title. The first one is the WBC female. I think we have a silver title. So the other one is the international title. He got the support from Indonesian and he will work together. But I'm not sure on November 10 they can promote or not because of the economic situation in Indonesia. But I hope that it will be better soon. And Mr. Amintan Promotion, previously in April, he wanted to promote WBC International for his fighter, Timo Bonabesa. He's ranked top in WBC. But also because of the COVID pandemic in Indonesia. So the fight is supposed to happen in November 2. And the last one is the situation in Malaysia. We have worked with the Muhammad Fakran, the boxer that the of the support. He's now our WBC Asia Cruiserweight champion and would like to step up to fight for the WBC international title. I think we can support him to fight. And also with really good support from General COVID, I think all Asian fighters will step up to fight for their prestige and go to the next step for their country. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Colonel. So we're just showing on the screen there, Colonel. This young lady is the new WBC Asia Super Lightweight Champion. And of course, she won the belt 2 weeks ago on the Return of Evolution Fight Series. Can you tell us more about this? They're calling her the female Triple G. It's big shoes to fill.
Actually, I saw this fighter fight. I think he has now 4 or 5 fights. She's a good boxer. But I think she needs experience at least 2 or 3 times to fight, so that he can be like a racing star of the Kazakhstan. Now, Evolution Fight Series, they asked us to support her to be in the WBC female ranking. I think it's possible because she is now a continental champion. So perhaps please support her to be ranked in the WBC female ranking.
Actually, on that note, as I'm on the female committee, I submitted her name yesterday on your recommendation. So thank you for that, Colonel.
Thank you for your word.
Mr. Aku. Oh, sorry, Mitra. Of course, please go ahead.
I'll give way to Sir Aku.
Hello, Abraham.
I'll give way to Aku. I'll give way to Aku. I can speak after him.
No, please. I'll talk to Aku after. Please take the floor. Thank you.
Yeah, please, yeah. Abraham, you go first. You go first.
Thank you, my friend. Not really talking about the fighters, specific fighters, but maybe talking about the prospects of ABC or WBC Asia. I think that once everything normalizes, I think that we will have a lot of work ahead of us because there's really, first mentioned by Patrick earlier, there's so much areas for expansion. And of course, in Australia, in the rest of the world, also in China, there's going to be a lot more boxing activity. Because as you know, once you're used to something, and then it stops or it goes away. Once it goes back, there's going to be, there's appetite. There's more appetite for it. There's more longing for it, and there's going to be maybe once the vaccine comes, we're all going to be so busy moving around the place, supervise sack fights, and promoters will be calling you left and right, and I think it's going to be very, very busy times for us ahead. And I'm excited to have the group, and I mentioned to Colonel Damrong and of course my good friend Kevin and my teacher Patrick that I'd like to be of more assistance and more active with the group. I think that this group has it has been reaching out to areas where other organizations have not gone to. I feel that it is more adaptive to requests, but responsibility and integrity stays. Because there are times when, for example, the location is so far, and there's a new promoter. You have to be able to adjust. Like for example, the supervisor should be from there, or most of the ring officials should be from there, and ahead of the WBC Asia has already been adjusting to situations, and we're very good. We're very happy that the adaptation has been there ever since. We just hope that we will be we can, Kev, we've adapted. We've adapted. Everybody's in Zoom. So we hope to see you more often, maybe every month or twice a month. In the schedule ratings, we can invite people to participate and all this. The new normal is already there, and I'm sure that, so I give way to Ak.
Just before I ask Aku a question, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's the collective collaboration which has driven the success of the WBC Asian Boxing Council under General Kova's leadership. It's that collectiveness, the group work that has pushed us to be very successful.
Yeah, well, of course, we'd like to thank General COVID for leading us all, and for being very welcome to us when we went there to sign an MOU. We cannot forget that. Very, very accommodating, and we have brought that home with us and talked to everyone how General COVID has been very, very accommodating and very helpful. It's an MOU saying that all Filipino fighters that will fight in Thailand will not be recognized unless there's a permit from the Games and Amusements Board, and the same as Thailand boxers going to the Philippines. So thank you, General COVID, and congratulations to the group.
Thank you, Mr. Mitra. Aku, we were talking about prospects. Who are the prospects that we can look to see coming out of China in the next couple of years? Professional boxers. And of course, we have two WBC Asian champions, both in the world rankings. But outside of those two champions, what have we got in terms of prospects?
Yeah, we have some very, very good young boxers. They are our prospect for WBC in the future. We have some boxers like 20 years old. They have the record like 11 wins and only one loss. And there are some boxers coming out from national team, like the boxer Zhongli He. He is super flyweight, and there is another boxer. I'm talking to their promoter to let him fight for WBC Asia title. I already talked to the promoter from Indonesia, Armin. Probably when the country board is open, I'm gonna suggest the promoter let the Chinese boxer. The name is Xiao Tao Su. He is 11 wins, only one loss. Probably he's gonna fight against Jeffrey Palulu for the WBC Asian title fight. I have already talked to Armin, and that boxer is very, very strong, very, very explosive. He can be the next world champion, and I would bring him into WBC system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
So just during this pandemic period, probably the activity is not so much, but it's a good time for us to set up and adjust the standard for the title fight, to make the title fight and make the title more valuable and higher standard.
Okay, wonderful. So we've come to the end of this meeting because the WBC Muay Thai committee will take over the platform. I would like to give the last few words to each and every one of you, and we'll start with the wonderful Oksana, please.
Kevin, thank you very much. So it was a great pleasure to work with you during the 4 years we were together. And I'm sure even not paying attention to the worldwide situation, this pandemic, we will follow our active work, our team job, and the Asian title, the WBC Asian title will be as active as usual. Active. It is, and it will be the most active championship title in the whole WBC.
Thank you. Mr. Damron, please. Final few words, Damron. Do you have final few words you'd like to say?
Sorry that my speaker not available. Please repeat again, please.
We're going to say goodbye now. I'm just going to say a final few words to everybody else on the committee, please. Okay, Colonel Tanapon, please. We'll come back to Colonel Tanapon.
Hello.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. It's wonderful to see many of you here. I believe our strength can co-working together in the next year, and I think that next year will be another great year for AFCO.
And my wonderful mentor, Mr. Cupid, please.
Thank you, Kevin. Just wonderful to see everybody here. Who would have thought 1 year ago that we'd be in the middle of a pandemic? Who would have thought that we'd be sitting here talking to each other via computers? Who would have thought that we're preparing to resurface in 21? And also congratulations for yourself, General Corvette, Colonel Chuck, for behind the scenes to get together to have the convention, the WBC convention in Bangkok next year. That's wonderful news, and I think it's going to be very great for the Asian Boxing Council. Anyway, everybody, goodbye for now, and I hope to see you again soon.
Mr. Aku, please.
I'm very happy to have this meeting with all the members here. In this year, even there is pandemic, but we still have a lot of boxing activity in the upcoming month. I wish to see every people face to face in next year in Bangkok. Thank you.
Mr. Abraham.
Like everyone, we miss each other. We haven't seen each other in a long time, but it's good that there's platforms such as this. And we on my first year as GAB chairman, about 4 years ago, I was already requesting that the Philippines host World Convention of the WBC. And well, Mr. Hello. So, that will be hosting, it is like that we'll be hosting, knowing how close our relationship is. And I have not forgotten the biggest delegation that went to the WBC
We seem to be having some technical difficulties, Mr. Mitra, hearing your final thoughts. Can everyone hear me right now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Can
Colonel.
I think must be the line from the Philippines. It's the problem.
Hello, everyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
Very clear, loud and clear. Vietnam's okay.
Okay, now
Russia's
better.
good.
Okay.
China's good. Philippines, where are you?
Okay, Colonel Damron, please, final few words. Thank you.
Okay. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank you to Oksana for your more than excellent work in last year and Central Asia and Russian territory. Because of your work, you make WBC Asia like look really good and have many activities. And thank you very much to Patrick for your established WBC Australasia. Because in Australia we have like a big partner as WBA Australasia. We must compete with them. Thank you very much to Aku for your excellent work in China. I think now WBC is #1 in China. And also Chairman Mita for his excellent work to supervising safety boxing in Philippines. Thank you to Secretary Kevin Nun for your really excellent work. You are my ideal, like Secretary General of the WBC Asia. And finally, I would like to say thank you very much to General COVID to support me very much. Thank you.
And last but not least, General COVID, a few final words for WBC Asian Boxing Council meeting, please. Thank you.
We feel very honored from the WBC to appoint us as a host of the 59 convention in Bangkok next March. And that's the first time we will have the Muay Thai convention on the first Muay Thai convention in the same convention March next year. So we're looking forward to see all the friends in Bangkok again, and we hope all the friends all over the world will enjoy your second home in Bangkok. And we will try to do the best to have the combined convention in next year with the boxing, the WBC 59 annual meeting, and also the first Muay Thai convention in that the same period. So I hope everyone who come to Bangkok and see our wonderful city in Bangkok, very, very Thailand. Thank you.
Thank you, General. Thank you very much. And of course, you can follow all of the WBC activities on our website, which is asianboxingcouncil.com, Instagram, WBC Asia, and of course, Facebook, WBC Asian Boxing Council, and we're on Twitter, WBC Asia. We have a very strong media presence, both externally and internally. It's been wonderful to see you all. We're going to Patrick, General COVID, and Colonel Juan. Please stay on the platform as the members from WBC will join shortly. Oksana, Colonel Damron, Aku, Mr. Mitra, wonderful to see you all again. And I hope we meet physically very, 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 very soon. in a safe environment. Wonderful to see you all.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Gerald.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul Landeros, good. Do we have some people waiting to sign in for the WBC Muay Thai?
Hi, good morning to everyone.
Is there
No one here in the room.
for the Muay Thai yet?
No, they haven't arrived yet.
Okay, we'll start it ourselves, and then once anyone joins, we'll please let them in. Thank you very much, Paul.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, I know it's very late in Mexico, and you've been working very hard. Thank you. We appreciate everything you do.
You're welcome. We're here to help. It's a pleasure to be with you today morning.
Thank you, Paul. Okay, good morning. We're going to switch over right now. This is the WBC Muay Thai. What a wonderful concept this was when you go back to the history and the origin. I'm going to give General COVID and actually I'm going to give Colonel Tanapon the opportunity to give a brief introduction, and then we'll hand it over to General COVID. But Muay Thai is the national sport of the Kingdom of Thailand, and it's entrenched into society. I mean, the value and the importance it has among the everyday lives. So many people is quite incredible to watch, and it's so valuable that the society has able to maintain its high level throughout the centuries, literally centuries and decades. And it's a wonderful sport, and the art and culture of Muay Thai. We're extremely proud that the WBC afforded an opportunity back in the days. I'm going to hand it over to Colonel Tanapon to give a few words on the value of the sport of Muay Thai and the value of the WBC allowing it, and then we'll go to General COVID for the history of the WBC Muay Thai. Colonel Tanapon.
Hello everyone, I'm Tanapon Phaktipoon, Executive Secretary of WBC Muay Thai. It's my privilege and pleasure on behalf of WBC Muay Thai to welcome you all today. As Kelvin said, we would like to make WBC Muay Thai as one of the best organizations to Muay Thai around the world, and we will preserve the Thai heritage and Muay Thai heritage of the world. And we're looking forward to working with you all. And I believe that we have a great organization in the future because of our spirit of cooperation. I think we're ready to begin to discuss. Anyone, please feel free to give us some comments if any. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel. Paul, could you mute your mic in the office in Mexico, please? There's a lot of feedback coming through. I'm sorry. Thank you. General COVID, give us, for anyone that's just joining and watching this now, of course, we're incredibly active around the world. Obviously, with the coronavirus pandemic, we had to press pause on the in-ring activities. But during this time, we've used this time to rebuild and regroup and keep growing our organization's reach around the world. We have representation in over 50 countries now. But I would like you to just give us a little insight to the origins, beginnings of the WBC Muay Thai. But before you start, Paul, if you're listening, please, could you mute the head office microphone, the microphone at head office, please? General COVID, please. Thank you.
I am not by here.
Oh, okay. Sorry, General. We would like you to give a little bit of an insight to the history and the origin of the WBC Muay Thai, how it began, how it came about.
on the WBC Muay Thai on the occasion of back to more than 10 years ago on the November 26, 1903. Jose Suleiman, the president of our ex-president of the WBC, and myself went to 36 of to the King of Thailand, present one of the award to the king, and we have a time to have a meeting at that time, and the king mentioned that the Muay Thai is one of the best martial art in the world. If we can bring to publicize to every part of the world, will be better than Muay Thai. And then Jose asked a member in Phuket Convention, said whether we will accept Muay Thai as a one division in the WBC or not. And the meeting said yes, why not? So we set up a team of Muay Thai, which is Jose appointed me to be a chairman of the Muay Thai division in the WBC. And we start to explore our activity to every part of the world. Now we have very popular training and competition in every part of the world, and we like to get in more fans and members to promote this activity in the near future. And we hope every country who be the member of the WBC can join Muay Thai section anytime, and we supposed to do as a good activity for the youngster of every country people. And I think Kevin, you can add more a little bit on my. Do you know?
Of course, General. I will absolutely. Thank you. That's wonderful insight. And of course, I could give an insight into it, but I want people to hear it from the person who has made it happen. And I would just like to add that without your endeavor, the WBC Muay Thai would not exist. And a lot of people need to realize that so much of your own time and finances into growing this organization. 2005 was the first WBC World Championship round. We had two very, very, very famous fighters in the Muay Thai industry, Nathan Corbett and Yatsankrai Fairtex. And I would like to hand this one over to Mr. Cusick. Of course, at the time, he was the Secretary General. He was there in a lovely white cream suit. And Mr. Cusick, could you give us an insight into the historic night on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia, when the WBC crowned their first ever world champions?
Yes, well, thank you, Kevin. In those days, 2005, the idea of having a WBC World Championship around the world hadn't eventuated. The organisation was formed, but then the promoters had to embrace it. And they all wanted to wait to see who goes first. Well, we were very fortunate because we had a Japanese promoter called Ray Matsumura. And Ray was based in Queensland. And he had John Wayne Parr. John Wayne Parr had just spent 6 years in Thailand, living in the training camp in Hanoi, and he had returned to Australia. And Ray Matsumura decided that he would put on the event to have John Wayne Parr fight against the best Thai boxer because he believed that the WBC Muay Thai was about having credible world champions. So we had John Wayne Parr at his peak against this rising superstar Yodsun Glide in the Gold Coast of Australia. And it was an incredible fight. Went the full distance, and the difference of 1 point in the end went to Yodsun Glide. And everybody in Thailand was just so happy that Thailand, from Thai boxing, from Muay Thai, was the first world champion. So Yodsun Glide came back and John Wayne Parr had another chance to fight for the world title against Steve Wakeling later on. But the whole impetus started to roll. And of course, we had Nathan. Nathan became a superstar in his own right around the world, but he got going because of that WBC world title. So that was very, that was what was the catalyst, really, that started the whole world rolling towards Muay Thai. Now, you must remember that in those days, Muay Thai had to go through a stage of seeing off the competition of K1. UFC wasn't a force, but K1 was very strong. They came over to Thailand, took the idea of Muay Thai, went to Tokyo, and called it K1 boxing, K1 kickboxing, and that was something that was a big challenge for Muay Thai, and with General Corvett's great foresight, he could see that what Muay Thai needed was a big world organization, and General Corvette was the president of the Asia Boxing Council. He had a very, very close alliance, a good friend with Dr. Jose Sullivan, the late president of the WBC, and together, when they met with the king, and the king asked, what could the WBC do for Muay Thai? And General Corvette said, we'll bring the WBC Muay Thai together, and we'll have it in 160 countries around the world. And so we had those early days, and they were difficult because we had to convince promoters that the WBC was the real deal. The WBC Muay Thai World Champions are like the WBC Boxing Champions. And that took a couple of years to get that message across. But once it started to roll, then it did really roll fast. And we had this incredible opportunity to cement Muay Thai, not only alongside K1, but ahead of K1. And then when UFC came along, the WBC Muay Thai was ready for it. And we were able to coexist with UFC. And the WBC Muay Thai today is without doubt the #1 stand-up combat sport of the world today. And there's no doubt in my mind that it's the WBC brand that established Muay Thai as the #1 stand-up sport, combat sport. We all knew that in terms of technique, Muay Thai was the world's best. But with the WBC brand, it was able to show very clearly that the WBC Muay Thai was #1 combat sport in the world, and it is and has remained that way since 2005 when it was started until today. And I see in the future the WBC Muay Thai's brand to become further enhanced as we have many more great champions.
Yeah, very, very, very well said, Patrick. Mr. Mitra.
Yes, hello again.
I'm very interested about the Philippines because obviously, traditionally and historically, the Philippines, it's a boxing country. Am I right in saying that in terms of fighting sports?
That's
but
right.
WBC Muay Thai has two champions from the Philippines right now, and two very strong fighters, Frings and Fernando, featherweight and super flyweight. And of course, they've been making waves on the domestic circuit. Where does Muay Thai stand in the country of Philippines, and of course WBC Muay Thai? Give us a little insight into that.
Kev, it's just last year that the first professional Muay Thai occurred here in the Philippines, and of course, truly, it's WBC Muay Thai. And Muay Thai in amateur here is growing, not yet very, very strong, but growing very fast. And the people behind it are also very people who are really into it, and also they look at expansion, they look at future promotions, and very exciting things to come for Muay Thai, WBC Muay Thai in the Philippines. People seem to like it because unlike MMA, there's not too much. There's no wrestling at all, and it's more exciting as the people are saying, and we see that in the coming months there's going to be tremendous growth, and I think that we will be able to participate in Muay Thai competitions in Thailand in the future. It is, of course, from Thailand, but us being your neighbors, we can easily adapt, and we have Muay Thai fighters here. And as you know, Filipinos are naturally strong, and like the Thailanders, really love combat sports. So we're up to it, Kev, and all-out support from the Games and Amusements Board to the WBC Muay Thai organization, headed by General COVID. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you very much. I think you when you talk about it's a Thai national sport. The sport of Muay Thai now has become a global sport.
I agree.
And it's a global sport, and the WBC Muay Thai is one of the catalysts behind the growth and the exponential growth of Muay Thai. I mean, you can go to literally any city in the world, Sydney, Dublin, New York, Boston, Los Angeles, Melbourne, Auckland, and you will find multiple Muay Thai gyms. And on the end of the year, you will have Muay Thai promotions in big stadiums, thousands of people. Some of these Muay Thai fighters now around the world are big global superstars. For example, the likes of Liam Harrison, of course, he's a former WBC Muay Thai welterweight world champion. He's a huge superstar now in combat sports. You have world championship boxers following him, going to him for strength and conditioning advice and training and stuff like that. So it's a fantastic sport, and it's more of a culture. It's from, of course, the origins is in Thailand, but it's now become a global sport, and we want to see that grow and grow even more. And if you just look at the screen, you can see the world champions. We have, of course, so with the WBC Muay Thai, we follow the rules and regulations that are mandated by the WBC in terms of weight divisions. We have 17 weight divisions, and our current champions are up on the screen there, and it's such a diverse group of champions. Of course, super middleweight world champion Hamza Ngoto. He won the world title at the famed Rajadamnern Stadium back in 2018, and he defended his belt in February at a very big event here in Thailand, down on Phuket Island, hosted by AMMA Promotions from France. We have Youssef Bouganem from Morocco via Belgium. He's our middleweight world champion. We have Thailand's Yadvicha. Of course, he's our super welterweight world champion. Welterweight, we just vacated the champion because he moved up to super welterweight voluntarily and he couldn't make the weight anymore. We have Ireland's Sean Clancy. He's our super lightweight world champion. He won the title in Cork City in Ireland last year in a very big event hosted by Martin Horgan and his team at Simon Warriors Promotions. We have Cyprus fighter Savas Michael. He's the lightweight world champion. He won that title at the Mecca of Muay Thai, which is Lumpini Stadium here in Bangkok. Super featherweight is vacant. We have a scheduled world title for the super featherweight world title next month. Featherweight champion Darren Rowland from France. He won that world title last year at Cadiz football stadium in southern Spain. And that event was held in the La Liga football stadium with 7,000 fans in attendance for a Muay Thai event, a holy Muay Thai event. And of course, his fight was the main event, the showcase headliner. The WBC Muay Thai Super Bantamweight World Champion is Japan's Asahi PK Sanchai. And of course, he won that belt in Tokyo. Thailand's Petchawalit Sor Chitpatana is the Bantamweight World Champion. He won it here in Thailand. His compatriot, Pet Thailand Mu Ping Aroy Jing, is the Super Flyweight World Champion. Flyweight, we have no world champion at the moment, but we're looking at a ranked number 1 and 2 fighters looking to fight for the World Championship in the coming weeks. Lightweight, we have Prayapao Petchindi. He's the fights out of one of the most famous gyms here in Thailand, Petchindi Academy. He's our current lightweight world champion. And we have another Thai rising star, Petit War Songprapai, as the mini flyweight world champion. It's such a diverse range of champions. And as you can see, in the lower weights, the Thai fighters are the strongest, and that's where they're the world champions. And a lot in the higher weights, you have a lot of the Westerners, non-Thai fighters. But it's such a fantastic viewing point when you see the champions that we have, not just our world champions, but our international champions, our diamond champions. We've only in the 15-year history of the WBC Muay Thai, we have crowned 6 diamond champions. We keep that belt at the highest echelons of the pinnacle of the sport of Muay Thai for the WBC Muay Thai. But our global growth has been quite phenomenal. Not just in recent times, but since the start of the WBC Muay Thai, when Patrick and the team started the events back in 2004, 2005 under General COVID's leadership. And in recent times, we have expanded even more. We have a representation now in actually 57 countries. Pre-pandemic, 2019 was the busiest year in the history of the organization of the WBC Muay Thai. We had 19 world and diamond championships spread all across the world. We had national championships on every 4 continents, not every continent, 4 continents. We just started the WBC African Committee. We had our first championships in Kenya recently. And of course, we have added some wonderful, energetic and enthusiastic representatives in recent times. Of course, our good friend Akram from Tunisia, and many other fine gentlemen and ladies, of course. We were supposed to be joined by quite a few of our team this morning, but with the time zones and work commitments, unfortunately, some of them haven't been able to join, but I know they'll be able to watch this on the WBC convention website. Patrick, Australia, traditionally outside of Thailand, you think of Australia, France, and England as the 3 strongest countries in terms of producing elite level Muay Thai fighters. You're Australian, you've recently relocated back home to Australia. Tell us a little bit about the Muay Thai scene and, of course, the WBC Muay Thai activities in Australia.
Well, you know, the WBC was formed in 2005. Now, this is a fact of history that in 1994, the WBC, the world set up the organization called the WMC, the World Muay Thai Council. Myself and an Englishman called Johnny Johnson and a boxing promoter from Thailand, Songchai Ratasapan, we determined that the world needed an organization because there was no world title belt. So that's how the World Muay Thai Council got established in 1994. And from 1994 to 2005, there was a means for world championships to be held under one organization. But the World Muay Thai Council never really got there because the fact was it didn't have an international umbrella. It was purely an organisation for convenience to be able to hold titles. But it took once the WBC got involved, with General Corvette establishing it with Jose Sulaiman, it gave the umbrella set up. It joined the biggest boxing organisation in the world. And that's where Muay Thai really began internationally under the umbrella of WBC Muay Thai. Before that, there were many fractured organisations that wanted to be the governing body of Muay Thai. But there's no real governing body of Muay Thai. The governing body of Muay Thai is the Sports Authority of Thailand. But there is the umbrella, the WBC umbrella, that the WBC enabled Muay Thai to expand around the world, with the WBC Vice President General Corvette as the president of the WBC Muay Thai, and expanded around the world. But we kept all of the rules and regulations of the Sports Authority of Thailand. So we kept the sport pure. We were able to take all the rules and regulations, and then we determined that what we should be doing is to get those rules agreed by the boxing commission, the athletic commission in the United States. And one of the first things that we did was to get the rules of Muay Thai from the Sports Authority of Thailand agreed by the commissions, the state commissions of the United States. So that was the framework. In terms of the expansion in Australia, Australia was one of the first to want to get behind organisations that were able to do world championships. So the WBC was able to use those linkages to be able to take what was already happening in Australia with development, and then we were able to catch with the WBC. Once those first world titles for the WBC were established in Australia, it set the example for the world. And automatically after that, England came involved in a major way. We had the Scandinavian countries won world championships. And most important, though, was that we were able to get our rules approved in the United States so that General Corvette could go across to Los Angeles and hold world championships in a casino in Los Angeles. And that really gave the sport an incredible lift when we went across to Los Angeles and had that televised live back to Thailand. So we had this incredible impetus once we had those championships held in the Normandy Casino in the United States in Los Angeles. And it was my great pleasure to be live sitting with General Corvette at ringside, watching those world championships live from Los Angeles. And the number of people who saw it in Thailand were so happy that finally, there on the big stage in the United States, people in the homes of all Thailand watch the WBC World Championships. So once we got into the United States, before that we had Europe, and then General decided that we would do a grand tour to take the sport into Russia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan. So together we went into those countries, and we got enormous amount of enthusiasm for Muay Thai. And we came back and we established representatives in the Russia and in Ukraine and in Kazakhstan. And then we were able to then look at all the other countries of the world. And most importantly, what people should also understand is that every year that the WBC had its convention, we had our WBC Muay Thai convention in the same venue. And we had promoters like Bob Arum, John King, all asking us, hey, what's this Muay Thai? So we were in the limelight there. We still are. At the WBC boxing conventions, there's always a day, which is the Muay Thai day, and everybody can ask any question they want, and any promoter can get involved. We're inclusive. We're not exclusive, but we have that WBC branding, which is so important.
I think when you talk about that, you just have to look at the king of boxing right now, Tyson Fury, WBC heavyweight champion of the world, one of the biggest sporting icons across all sports right now. He's a huge fan of Muay Thai. Recently, he posted a video of himself training Muay Thai in his front living room on Instagram Live, and hundreds of thousands of people watched it, and you could see his enthusiasm. So hopefully very soon, fingers crossed, we will invite Mr. Fury to Thailand to not only train Muay Thai, but to feel the vibrancy, the culture, and the rich history of the sport in its past and its presence, and maybe offer him the opportunity to crown a world champion, bring in the ring here in Bangkok in the not too distant future.
We also had another world champion, WBC world champion, boxing champion, Vitaly Klitschko, a kickboxer. He loves Muay Thai. When we had the convention in Bangkok the last time at the Continental Hotel, Intercontinental, he came up and we were sitting on the top of the hotel with General Corvette, and he was telling us how much he loved Muay Thai and how much he loved the whole concept of being able to use all your weapons, not just your fists. But don't forget that we gave to Vitaly Klitschko an honorary championship belt, an honorary WBC Muay Thai championship belt at one of the WBC conventions. So the boxers know that Muay Thai is number one as the stand-up combat sport. They're boxers. The sweet science of the two fists is very much part of their genre, but they all know that the weapons of Muay Thai is number one in the world.
Yeah, just to touch on that point, that was 2 years ago in Kiev when Mr. Klitschko, our former WBC heavyweight world champion, General COVID presented him with a beautiful replica of the WBC Muay Thai. So he's an honorary diamond champion. And you could see his raw enthusiasm and receive. Like, this is a man who has reached the pinnacle of boxing, and he's the mayor of Kiev, and very, intense, popular, and has achieved so many things in his life. He was very rawly enthusiastic about receiving that belt. And of course, you touched on it earlier. Before he was a boxer, he was a kickboxer. And, Ukraine has a very, very high level in amateur Muay Thai. The government invests a lot of money in amateur Muay Thai, not so much professional, but it was a fantastic moment for General Kovic to present Vitaly Klitschko with that honorary WBC Muay Thai Diamond Championship.
Yeah, and there are many fighters though. Costa Tszyu told me too that he really likes Muay Thai. Costa Tszyu, Jeff Fennick's an admirer of Muay Thai. Jeff Harding in Australia, he called Muay Thai. I'm sure I can say it openly here. He called it the fighting cocks. That was how Jeff Harding referred to Muay Thai. He was just knocked out by the intensity of a Muay Thai fight.
Colonel Tanapon, I'd like to just come over to you for a minute and ask you, what value and what the importance in modern culture in Thailand, what does the sport of Muay Thai hold in Thai society from the viewpoint of everyday citizens, and the value that the sport still has, and what role does and can the WBC Muay Thai play in the continuation of maintaining the sport on a very high level?
Well, Muay Thai is not for anyone. Muay Thai is for everyone. So people around the world can learn and can train for Muay Thai for fun, for sport, and for any area. But most importantly, Muay Thai is one sport culture in the world, combining sport and culture together. It's our not only Thai heritage,
How are you?
but world heritage for our people.
Sawadee Cup.
I think the value of Muay Thai is under is our spirit to train and to play and to compete with this sport. So how to say it is in our blood for Thai for many years for the ancient. It's for the warrior from the ancient time, and now it become the most popular martial art in the world. So I'm so proud that WC Muay Thai is a major support for the Muay Thai to promote Muay Thai around the world. As my dad mentioned that this is our privilege and our pride of Thailand in the world. And I hope that with WC Muay Thai, with our team and our reps around the world, we can make the Muay Thai more prestigious and belonging to the world in the future. Thank you.
I would like to bid a very warm welcome to Mr. Akram, all the way from Tunisia. Good morning, Akram from Bangkok. General COVID.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
How are you, Akram? Welcome.
I hope that all the family is good and well. How are you, Mr. COVID? How are you, Mr. Thanapol? How are you, Mr. Vice President?
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you a lot. It's my pleasure to join the great family in the world.
Akram, before we get into your journey in Muay Thai, what does the sport of Muay Thai mean to you? I mean, tell me about your history in the sport, and you joined the WBC Muay Thai. Your passion, your enthusiasm, absolutely amazing and fantastic to see. Give us a little insight into your passion for the sport of Muay Thai and for your reasons and passion for joining the WBC Muay Thai.
First of all, I want to say thank you for the WBC Muay Thai family to give me this honor. And second, about the Muay Thai passion. I am a fighter and a crew. I am an educator in the same time. Muay Thai is a way of life. The story and the journey of the Muay Thai history is a history of country, of people, not just the fighting, not just a way of fight. More than that is the main history of South Asia. Is a pure discipline, not mixing. All people in North Africa think Muay Thai is kickboxing and similar to kickboxing. They don't know what's mean Muay Thai exactly. Muay Thai, the similar way, the disciplines for Muay Thai is Bokator and Litwi. They don't know the real story of Muay Thai. The king and his two prince kids, why they came to the camp, or who they take the leads after him, and the fight who come back from Cambodia. He fight the lion in the jungle, and the whole Muay Thai story is a story, really amazing story. That's why I want to publish Muay Thai in Tunisia, in Africa also, and want to make him in the learning system of Tunisia. Only we have kickboxing, and now we are trying to make Muay Thai in the education system in Tunisia. And Mr. Minister give me the green light to start making and learning the Muay Thai to the kids, first of all. After that, we will make a big seminar to announce the green light for the family of the WBC to work to Tunisia illegal way, because we have some issue with lawyer in Tunisia. No organization can work under the Tunisian law. Only they have a special approved by the minister. And we already have the green light with talking. But after this situation, when the new minister of sport appointments, will have it in paper and an official approved to start teaching Muay Thai with the right way.
Wow, I just feel that raw passion and enthusiasm in your voice. General Covid, would you like to say anything to Akram to welcome him into the WBC Muay Thai? Would you like to say a few words to Akram, please?
Well, welcome, Akram, to Asia.
Thank you, sir. I am already an ex-soldier for the Tunisian commanders.
Wow.
For the Tunisian commander in 2011. I stopped my education and I go to the National Guard Tunisian special unit, and I come back again to learn and to train again.
Welcome, Asia.
Thank you, sir.
Colonel Tanapon, as a Thai citizen, as a Thai person, how does it make you feel to hear, like, a foreigner, someone from another continent, speaking so passionately about a sport that's indigenous to your country?
Oh, so I'm so delighted to hear that. Thank you, Akram. Thank you very much. I think that Thai people, if everyone heard you say it about Muay Thai and Thai culture, we are very proud to be someone like you, and I believe that you can help us to promote Muay Thai in Tunisia and to your region also. Thank you very much.
Akram, would you like to give us a little insight to your plans? What once this pandemic hopefully finishes soon? Of course, we're living in very strange times at the moment, but what plans do you have in place to promote activities, youth, senior? What plans do you have? Could you give us a little insight into what your plans are moving forward?
We start to make some events to have the qualification of the national Tunisian WBC championship. Already, I will send you the post event. The first event will be make it in Tunisia in the 13th of this month.
We will have the first convention of Muay Thai in March next year. Please join.
Hopefully, when March comes, the next 2021, we will have the Tunisian WBC champion here in Tunisia, and Mr. Hussein Louheshi, as all you know, is the vice president of the WBC. He told me that he will come to Tunisia and we will make a WBC night, 3 boxing fights and 12 Muay Thai fights, only for the green bill, the green night in Tunisia.
Welcome.
Well, fantastic. Looking forward to that. Okay, it's Oscar. Sorry if you had a little boy that had a meltdown. Oh, Oscar Martinez is trying to join. Oh, Oscar, welcome.
Good to see you guys. How's everybody doing?
How are you?
I'm good. My little guy had a meltdown,
That's okay, Oscar. Please introduce yourself to everyone, Oscar.
Good evening, guys. My name is Oscar Martinez. In the United States. I'm a Midwest representative for WBC. The last few years, I've been working really hard on trying to develop the sport of Muay Thai out here in this region. It's been amazing working for WBC. When I let everybody know that we're doing stuff for WBC, everybody gets really, really excited. So it's an honor and a pleasure to be here in this group, and thank you for having me, guys.
So we're joined today by Mr. Cusick, General COVID, of course, our president, our dear president, and Colonel Tanapon, the executive secretary, and Mr. Akram all the way from Tunisia. So it's we're such a fantastically diverse organization. Everyone is we're all in this together. We're all in this to share. Oh, wow. Okay. Akram, please tell us more about this.
What, Mr. Kevin?
Please, so your event is up on the screen. Would you like to tell us about it?
The next 2 weeks, in 13th of August, the event will make it. The National Muay Thai Gala will be carried by WBC Care, WBC Muay Thai Tunisia, and WBC Youth Care, and WBC Hero of the World. And also, we don't forget, the only organization friend with the WBC, the WMO.
Okay, wonderful, fantastic. We're looking forward to hearing about its success and
qualification for the WBC National Champ in Tunisia.
Excellent news, fantastic. Oscar, how is the situation in Colorado now? Are gyms allowed to open right now? Obviously, with the ongoing pandemic, are Muay Thai gyms open? Are they closed? Or what's the situation in Colorado right now?
Currently, my gym is running. We do have some restrictions. The restrictions are just basically the amount of people that we're allowed to have in our facility. They allow us 25% capacity. The gyms across Colorado, for the most part, they're open, but there's been a lot of gyms that have gone out of business during this time. Fortunately, I have a strong base of supporters that actually maintained the gym while the gym was closed. In saying that, I was still teaching online classes, trying to keep some kind of connection with my people, right? And in doing that, they supported us. In the state of Colorado, there's no events going on. Everything has been basically shut down. As far as any competition in the state, it's not allowed. But Wyoming is open. I have been working closely with the boxing commissioner in Wyoming, and he's been allowing me to go out there and referee boxing, MMA, kickboxing, and Muay Thai. The commissioner out in Wyoming is very interested in having WBC come out and start sanctioning some fights as well. I'm glad that I'm here because I did have some questions about things that I'd be able to do with the boxing commission out there. Wyoming, from where I'm at, is only an hour and a half away. And like I said, they've asked me to go out there and educate their officials on the way that WBC Muay Thai does the rules and everything else.
Sure. Well, ask away, Oscar. The floor is yours. Whatever you will. If we can't answer it now, we will surely endeavor to answer it in the coming days via electronic email. But please, fire away.
Okay. Perfect. First question: am I able to go and train the commission's officials on scoring and officiating Muay Thai?
Absolutely, absolutely. As the Midwest representative in the United States, you're authorized and you have taken our courses, so you're well versed and well educated in that. And also, don't forget, you have a very, very knowledgeable individual who's a very close friend of yours in California, Mr. Knockweed, and he's our technical director in North America. So any advice, any technical information that you need, tap into Knockweed, and I'm sure he's more than willing to help you out. It's spread your wings, of course. Wyoming, go get it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I spoke with Knockweed yesterday, and I was kind of letting him know what my plans were and how I wanted to go in there and kind of work with them, and also just wanted to make sure I was able to have his blessing and obviously have everybody else's blessings.
Well, as long as you have the support of Noki, because as you know, he's a very valued member of the WBC Muay Thai.
Yes,
and
sir.
one of the pioneers and architects of the growth of Muay Thai, not just in California, but across the States. You go to
Yes,
any Muay Thai gym in the continental Americas and they know who Noki is. So, of course, yeah, fantastic. Let's do it. You have our blessings. And anything you need, any support, go to Noki, and of course come to us and we'll do whatever we can do to help you.
Awesome. One other question that I had, you know that I've always asked about the amateur program for Muay Thai. Has there been any kind of information with that?
So under the charter of the Sports Authority of Thailand, the WBC Muay Thai, we're only for adult practitioners of the sport of Muay Thai. Our charter is only to sanction professional Muay Thai.
Okay.
IFMA, which is the amateur arm of Muay Thai, they're the sole body for amateur Muay Thai. There are other organizations, I believe, sanctioning amateur events and championships. But we have a gentleman's agreement that we don't enter into amateur Muay Thai because we don't want to have damage the growth of the sport. But there's no harm. I mean, you could also do support amateur Muay Thai, by helping them with rules and regulations and stuff. But unfortunately, we can't. Or fortunately, because we're a professional sanctioning body, we don't sanction amateur championships for adults. Now, for the kids, that's a completely different story because it's the WBC youth program, which I'm really pushing for everyone to get heavily involved in because they're our future of the sport, and we have such a wide-ranging, from championship belts for under 16s to under 18s to medals and certification for the under 12s, under 14s, under 10s. But to answer your question in terms of the adults, we should probably continue to stay away from the amateur side of it in terms of sanctioning championships and putting belts around waists. There are other ways we can help out in terms of rules and regulations and using our rules and regulations in competitions, but we can't officially sanction championships under amateur Muay Thai.
Okay. And as I've said in the past, I do run the Colorado Muay Thai Association, which is an amateur organization for kids all the way up to adults. So I'll just continue to do that way. It's just something that I was trying to figure out over in Wyoming as well. But with the kids, with the COVID and everything else, my goal for this year was to run a kids WBC tournament.
Wow.
Yep. And there's the interest for it. I mean, we have the grounds to do it. We have the interest to do it. I mean, our tournament is getting up to about 300 to 400 competitors every year.
Oscar, this could be a golden opportunity for you because I don't know if you're familiar with our Canadian representative, Mr. Kieran Kettle, with the Muay Thai World Cup, and he's hosting those fantastic events on the Indian territories outside Calgary. He is putting together a proposal to host the first ever WBC Muay Thai Kids Grand Prix in Calgary in 2021. Now you're knocking on the door of Calgary. I mean, in terms of travel and logistics. So
right.
This could be a wonderful opportunity when borders open again. That obviously Kieran is probably going to delay. It was supposed to be in the early parts of 2021, but I believe he will delay it maybe to the summer of Northern Hemisphere summer 2021. But it could be a huge opportunity for you to build your kids program now and then look to bring those athletes north of the border next year.
No, definitely. Because, I mean, for all athletes, it's always exciting to travel, especially the young ones. Cool. Well, yeah, no, those were the questions that I had. I just kind of wanted to see where things were for this year. But no, my questions are answered. Thank you.
Okay, our pleasure. We're here to, we're all part of the same grouping, the same family. We're all here for the same reason. None of us are getting rich off this sport. It's a sport about passion. You're either in it for passion, you're not in it for financial gains. As we all know, it's just I mean, how amazing is this right now? You have Patrick in Melbourne, You have General COVID, Colonel Tanapon and myself in Bangkok, Akram in Tunisia, you in Colorado. We're on a digital platform talking about Muay Thai. And of course, how blessed are we to have the WBC Muay Thai? A lot of people don't realize how lucky we are that we have this amazing organization allowing, of course, if you go back to the history, it wasn't luck. It was a deep bond and friendship between General COVID and the late Jose Suleiman, of course, the lifetime president of the WBC, and of course the former king of Thailand, giving his blessing to ask for support of Muay Thai, not WBC in particular, but to support Muay Thai and the growth of Muay Thai.
Right, and that's what I'm trying to do out here. Just like you said, with the love and passion, and I've never sought any kind of reward. It's what Muay Thai did for me in my life, and I'm here and still kicking, knock on wood, right, because of Muay Thai. So this is my way to give back to the sport and sharing my passion for the sport.
Yeah, I think that's the deep narrative about it, the stories and the legacy of the sport of Muay Thai. Everyone you meet has an individual story that resonates. Muay Thai has helped them overcome personal issues, physical issues, and it becomes part of their way of life. And that's one of the wonders that the sport, and it's that deep-rooted culture that the sport, it's not just the sport, but it's cultural, historic value that continues to seep into everyone that's involved in Muay Thai. And of course, tourism, Muay Thai tourism here in the kingdom. Unfortunately, not right now. Very pragmatic decision by the Thai government to shut the borders. Of course, we have had very, very low numbers of cases of the virus here, the coronavirus, and I have to commend the Thai government for the way they've handled it. Unfortunately, tourism, sports tourism in particular, Muay Thai tourism is non-existent right now, but pre-pandemic, thousands, and I would say hundreds of thousands, maybe exaggerating a little bit, yearly. I don't have the exact numbers.
Well, hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, I would say hundreds of thousands come here every year to practice. The amount of gym here in the country is incredible. They're opening in so that's wonderful to see. And that gives, with the opening of gyms and the growth and exponential growth of the sport, it gives the former elite fighters here an opportunity to continue in the sport, working in gyms as trainers and sharing their knowledge. And of course, around the world, just take Knockweed, for example, as an expat. And what is he doing? He's in California. He had the first, I believe, the first ever Muay Thai gym in California. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
And he's sharing his passion and his love for his national sport in California. And of course, people like you and Akram and all around the world sharing their knowledge of the sport. And you can see the smile on your face.
That's what I learned from him. That's what I learned from him. And today, that's what I was doing at the gym. I went in there tired, and the moment I got in there, I started teaching it, and it just comes out of you, But that's the way it was taught to me. So it's a good thing to have.
Touching back on the WBC Muay Thai, I think one of the strongest aspects that we have is that we have such a phenomenally strong ranking committee. And our global ranking, the work that goes into our professional rankings for both male and female, it really helps the sport. And of course, we copy the platform that WBC created, and we have a committee of experts, and we track and follow all the results around the world, and of course the stadiums in Thailand. And I think that's what gives a lot of eminence to our organization as well, that we have such strict protocols, of course, on mismatches and safety in the sport as well, which is a very important value. Of course, all fight sports have their elements of danger once you get in the ring. I mean, everyone who gets in the ring realizes and knows that, but we as an organization have to try and implement, not try, but we have to implement safety protocols before the events, during the event, and after the event, and keep evolving as an organization towards safety in the sport of Muay Thai. So on that note, we're going to have to end it because we've been on this. Yes, Paul.
I have a special guest.
Of course.
They want to say hi for all of you. President of the Eagle Association Sport of Fax, and our crew in WBC Muay Thai Tunisia. Mr. Samir Bouguerra he's the same of the representative of the WMO Tunisia. He wants to join us. Welcome, Mr.
Okay, please, of course, absolutely.
Hello. How are you,
Good
sir?
evening.
Hello.
He's the
Everything
head crew of the Muay Thai in Tunisia. The first
wow.
and the only crew in Tunisia of Muay Thai. Even you see the logo of our association that I shared in the screen.
Wow.
Eagle
Okay.
and Muay Thai fighter. He teach
Wonderful.
both levels, amateur, semi-pro, and professional. He doing
Nice
a
to meet
great
you.
job, really.
Wonderful to meet you. Wonderful. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Mr. Giver. Thank you.
We have a
Patrick
huge
Music.
family here in Tunisia. We have some experts from Algeria, the friend of the Hajj Ben Taher.
Oh, of course, yes. Haj is our chairman for the continent of Africa. I hope he's treating you well.
You know the story about the Africa. I have some friends want to enjoy the family of the WBC from Egypt, from Mauritania, and from the Middle East, even in the middle of Africa. I will send you all the names after we finish the convention.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, wonderful. We have the gentleman from Egypt. We have already, I believe today or Monday, General COVID will sign the appointment.
Mr. Muhammad Rifat Gaber has been proven. Oh, thank you a lot.
Yes, General COVID will sign the authorization of his appointment either today or Monday, but it will be public by Monday.
Thank you a lot. I know that man from 2017. We were there with Mr. Samir. He's our head coach. We participate in his event, and he do event every year. He's a hard worker. Before he's in IFMA, the delegate of the IFMA, and after that he stopped working in amateur level. He changed to the next level. He asked me to talk to you, and we will hear. And thank you for approving him. He's a great man. He have a great plan for Muay Thai in Egypt.
We look forward to working together in the future. Wonderful. Thank you. Mr. Cusick, a final few words for you, please.
Final few words. Well, all I want to say is I wish everybody good health. The world is committed, stuck on a course, whether we agree with it or not. We have to go through it. We have to be strong, and we have to stay healthy, because I believe that once this year is over, there will be a new dawn, and there'll be a new understanding, and the world will become united. And I believe that in terms of Muay Thai will break free in a big way in 2021. So I'm very thankful to see everybody here today. And I look forward to coming to Thailand in March next year for the WBC convention and the WBC Muay Thai convention. I'm looking forward to that very much.
Oscar, final few words, please.
Final few words. Honestly, it's been a great pleasure being here with everybody. I'm repeating myself, but it's an honor to be a part of WBC Muay Thai, to be a representative here, and to try to spread the word of Muay Thai is a big responsibility that I'm very happy to have. I wish happy health to everybody. Stay safe, stay strong. We'll see each other in March in Thailand.
All going well. Akram, final few words, please.
Thank you for the green family, and I hope all stay healthy, stay well. We will hope to see you here in Tunisia, all the family, and I hope to see you
We look forward
all
to it.
events in the WBC convention. My Thai more progress in Tunisia, and that's my promise. I will give you the great news to put Muay Thai in Tunisian education system. Thank you.
Wow. Colonel Tanapon, the final few words, please.
Well, I'm so delighted to have you all joining us today. This year may be a difficult time for us to organize activity as planned during this pandemic. But I believe that after this, we will be stronger and be a successful organization because of our spirit of cooperation. It's wonderful to see you all here today. I'm looking forward to see you all next year in Thailand. Thank you.
General COVID, last but not least, the final few words.
Yes, our progress of the WBC Muay Thai so far so good, and we like to thank everyone to join us and support us to make a WBC Muay Thai more popular. And thank you everyone for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, General. Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for the patience of Paul Landeros in the head office in Mexico. Paul, fantastic work. Go get some rest. You've got a busy weekend to finish off the convention. Thank you to everyone for joining us, and tune in to Saturday when our dear President Marissa Suleiman will make a special announcement at the closing ceremony on Saturday. I'm not going to sleep between now and then with excitement. And I'm not kidding. Okay, thank you everyone, and long live the WBC, long live the WBC Muay Thai, and blessings to everyone. Stay safe and stay happy. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.